you're telling me something that I don't like, and I'm becoming defensive about it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. She's just telling me how she feels. Her intention is not to hurt me or harm me. The intention is actually to benefit me, because once I know how she feels about this situation, now it gives me the ability to do something about what's the thing that's causing her to feel that way. Everyone, welcome to another episode of Marriage Matters. This is a podcast where we talk about marriage matters because
marriage matters.
Yes, it does. I'm joined as always by my irresistibly beautiful wife.
Well, thank you. Hello, I'm Tanya Coleman.
Couldn't get that out because you're simply irresistible to me.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So kind
yes, you are. So yeah, this is Tanya Coleman. My name is Glenn Coleman. And this is Marriage Matter. So welcome. What's been going on in your world?
It's been busy. It really has. Between work and it's the end of the school year. All of the things that happen at the end of the school year are happening. We're in this season of having older teenagers, and so that means that a lot of our friends and people that, we do life with, their kids are graduating. Yeah. So we've been attending graduations and celebrations and all of the things, and missing some because the calendar is like crazy. But, so it's good. I'm glad that the school year is coming to an end.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's been a long one.
I think it's just because we haven't had this is the first full school year since, I think since COVID. 18-19 year?
Yeah.
2018, 2019?
Yeah, because following COVID, we had the hurricanes here in Louisiana, 2 hurricanes, an ice storm, a flood in southwest Louisiana.
So it's been crazy. So I think we're just not used to these regular school years anymore. So
but thank God it's coming to an end.
Yep. And we only got one more to go with Bethany.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, that's another podcast.
That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Get me my waterworks to going over here.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So every week we've been, not every week, but most weeks we've been doing like a comment of the week. And this week's comment comes from, I don't know if it's Change.
It's Change Teak.
Change Teak.
Yes,
you know this
my
person?
Friend, yes.
Oh, okay. Hey, friend. Do I know this person?
No, you haven't met her. So we met in the sister circle following Crystal Evans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
Yeah, but go ahead.
So Change Teak?
Change Teak.
Okay.
Yes.
She said I'm assuming.
It is she.
This was really good. You guys are an inspiration. Wishing you all the increases. So thank you for that lovely comment. And we receive all of the increases.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, my Cash App is, no, I'm just joking. Just joking. So
that is funny.
Thanks Change Teak for that awesome review. And this is just an encouragement to you guys to, reach out, get involved. We're doing this, not just, we do it for us because we get so much out of this when we get to talk and discuss and all these things. But we also like it when you chime in and you get involved and you let us know how it's benefiting you. So thanks again for the comment. So
yes.
Now it's time for your favorite part of this show.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not. I don't know if it is, but it's time for tips, tricks, and tools.
Okay.
Tips, tricks, and tools.
See, how do I keep my screen from going black? And y'all getting all this, huh? Because I want to keep the notes where I can see them well.
You can't see this?
Okay, I can. You don't have to move the computer. Yeah, it's fine.
You sure?
Sometimes I like to read ahead to see where you're going.
Okay, well, I can show you how to do that on your. It's simple. It's simple. You go to the settings. Then you go down here to the display and brightness. Then you come down here, see where it says auto lock. 1 minute. You just put it on never.
Okay.
So it'll stay on. But you got to remember to turn it off because
sometimes I don't want it to be on.
Yeah. So anyway,
for that.
You're so welcome. So that's your tip, ticket,
tip,
trick, or tool. Yeah, I just can't talk today. But I'll give you another one. So this week we want to highlight a program that's very special to us, something that we've been through, something that's been life-changing to us. And this is put on by the agency that we're a part of, the Kitchen Table.
The Kitchen Table.
Shout out to
TKT.
Yep, shout out to Mark and Melissa. And I'm not gonna start naming everybody because I'm gonna leave somebody out.
Yeah, so, don't do that.
And Michelle LeBlanc.
Yes.
Yes. So Growth Challenge is an action-packed 2.5 days consisting of experiential exercises, small group discussion, mini lectures, and individual focused coaching. In GC1, you discover some of the limiting beliefs that keep you blocked and living small. GC1 challenges you to step into your identity and live free. I will tell you that this weekend was revolutionary. It did so much for me. It helped me remove some of my blocks, just like it says there. Right. So, like the young people say, no cap.
No cap. No cap.
I'm not. We don't get anything out of this. No. We don't get any kickers or whatever. We just want to give you something that's going to be
not kickers.
There's kickers too.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but it's kickbacks too. But we don't, we just want to give you things that are going to help you be the better version of you. Because what we believe is that if you could, our motto is we help couples heal from past experiences so they could be the best versions of themselves. Yes. Because if you could be the best version of yourself in your marriage, then you will have the best version of your marriage.
Yes,
if both of you are doing that. So this program, if you feel stuck, if you feel like, I just can't get to the next level. I just don't know what the next level is. I need to reset all those things. GC, Growth Challenge, is the place for you because it's going to challenge you to grow, hence the name. So the next Growth Challenge is scheduled for August 19th through the 22nd. It's in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's a Friday night, Saturday all day, and then a Sunday morning, afternoonish. And I'm telling you, it's so worth it. The cost, there is a cost. It's $499, but I'm telling you, it's so worth it. So if you want to sign up for Growth Challenge or if you want more information about Growth Challenge, you can go to thekitchentablecounseling.com/growth-challenge.
Yes.
So thekitchentablecounseling.com /growth-challenge. Or if you just go to thekitchentablecounseling.com, there is a tab on the bar there. It says I think seminars or something like that. But check it out. Definitely. I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you a better father, husband, employee, employer, human being. I'm telling you, you want, and this is just, there's actually 3 phases to this.
Right.
But if you can't do all 3, at least do number 1.
GC1 it's definitely kind of begins to open that door for you. And it's kind of like, it's not one of those, you go to a conference and you have these highs. It's like I call them mountaintop experiences. GC, it's like you dig deep, and it's like ongoing residual benefits after the weekend experience.
It puts you in a community. The people I went through GC with, I still talk to today. Absolutely. We still hold each other accountable. And then every other GC. So we don't want to keep harping on it, but you need to check it out. Yeah. So let's get into today's topic. And today we are talking about attunement. Attunement.
I love that word.
Yes. So what is attunement? Well,
would you like me to share?
Sure.
Okay. So attunement creates a sense of connection and being with someone else. When someone attunes to us, we feel that they get us. We feel that they care for us.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about
it. You saw my note in there.
I was about to step into waters that I am not familiar with.
So, but I guess I want to ask you, why do you think attunement is important in relationships? And we're talking primarily, of course, about marriage, but all relationships, whether it's whatever the relationship is, why do you think attunement is important?
Well, if you think about, the definition, the connection, when someone attunes to you, that they get you, that they understand you, it's important in marriage that that you feel a connection, right, with that person, and not just like attraction. That's different, from connection, but that I know who you are, not in a way that everyone knows you. I know who you are on a deeper level. And so we have that connection, and that you understand who I am as well. And I always say good, bad, ugly, and indifferent, like all of the things, me in that way. And you know how to connect with me when you see that in some form or fashion, I need connection.
Yes. I want to back up because you said something that I want to just go back to. I'm going to move this a little bit. I'm just adjusting our microphone here for those of you that are watching to get it closer to you because my voice tends to carry. But attraction does not equal connection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, you can be attracted to people that you have connection with.
Absolutely.
But attraction, and I think that's what happens. I think a lot of times in life, we find ourselves confusing attraction and connection. Just because I am attracted to a person does not mean I have connection with that person.
Right.
Okay. And I think a lot of times we confuse that, and that's how we lead to maybe like affairs or just all these other things, because we sense this attraction, and because we don't know the difference and we can't distinguish between the difference. We think that we need to connect with that person. Right. So, and I'll say this, there's nothing wrong with healthy attraction. I mean, and we joke about it all the time. We find there's other people, that we find, when we went to the wax museum, I had to take a picture with my first crush, Haley Berry. You know what I'm saying? That was, and there's an attraction. I say that's an attractive woman, but that doesn't mean that I have connection with that woman.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I need to pursue that. It's just saying, okay, that's an attractive woman.
Right.
And I know you have the same, I don't know if you want to get into all of that.
With Idris?
Yeah, Idris. Yeah. There's another one too.
Who's that? Oh, Morris Chestnut.
Yeah. Anyway, so my point is, I'm glad that you brought that out. But, going back to the attunement thing, it is a very important. And I think that's in our relationships, the reason why we don't go deeper or we don't, the connection never deepens. To me, as the longer you stay with a person, the deeper that connection should go. And the deeper that connection goes, the harder it is to sever or break that connection. And so that's why, a lot of times, when you have a deep connection, you can go through things and weather storms because of that connection. But when I first heard this word attunement, I automatically.
What did your music ears say?
I automatically went. You can set it right here if you want to. You good?
Fine.
Okay. I automatically went to music, right, and like tuning a guitar, a tune. So when I think of attunement, what you're doing is you're tuning to a person. So like when you tune a guitar or even a piano, typically you don't tune a keyboard, but keyboard is 440, but in that everything else tunes to that. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that.
I don't know.
I just use a guitar because it's probably the easiest thing. So if I play a C on my keyboard, which is tuned to,
I know what C is,
which is 440, which is the pitch to which most instruments are tuned to. That C, that note C generates a frequency. Because not electronically, but that string on that guitar, when you pluck it, it vibrates at a certain frequency. Mm-hmm. And so what
it'd be like a noise frequency.
Yeah.
You get sound.
Yeah. So that's what.
Is that not electronic?
Every noise has a frequency, but what you're doing is you're tuning. You're tightening that string so that it vibrates, or loosening that string so that it vibrates at the same frequency as the note that I'm playing on the keyboard. And so you're bringing those things into alignment. You're bringing those things into tuning. And I think that's what attunement is. In a relationship, is so often we don't do that. We tend to want to see things our way instead of tuning in to where our spouse is in the moment.
So we're trying to make a baritone sing soprano?
Exactly. Exactly. And that can work for a little while, but eventually that's not sustainable.
Right. It's going to lose his voice.
Right. So
that's kind of deep.
Yeah, it is. You losing the voice in the relationship, right? So, I want to refer to our good friend, Dr. John Gottman, who has a really great, what do you call it? Acronym? Is that the word?
That is an acronym.
For attunement. And it's a great way to remember it. So we're going to go through each of these. So I'm just going to spell it out for you. ATTUNE, attune. A, awareness. T, turning toward. T, tolerance. U, understanding. N, non-defensive listening. And E, empathy.
That's so good. I have a lot already.
Okay, so let's go forward. Let's get all this out of you.
Okay.
All right.
I turn toward.
Yeah, let's attune. Let's attune. Okay, we don't have to tune right there, but let's do it here. So A is for it's equals awareness of emotion. Awareness of emotion. Awareness is all about being aware of your partner's emotions.
How do you do that?
Well, I think several things come to mind. When I've been with you long enough to know, okay, something's off. I think also, that we as human beings, we do give off energy.
Sure.
And so I can pick up your energy. So I have to be aware of that. And I'm just read a couple of these two notes, and then we'll really get into it. Your approach to your partner and your response will help to determine how the conversation will go. And the searching out of the why. So if I feel that something's off, I come in the house and I know, okay, something's not going on here. So I'm aware of that. But the tendency when we feel that or when we sense that is avoidance. And I'm just not gonna, I'm gonna go to my room. I'm gonna go upstairs.
I don't know what's going on with her, but I don't.
I just don't want to. And so your approach is gonna determine the response. Or let me read it how I've read it written. Your approach to your partner and your response will help determine how the conversation or the situation will go. Right. And so you have to, and the other thing about how when a person is feeling a certain way, I always say this, you have to mine, M-I-N-E, no, it's mine. Yeah, like you mine coal.
M-I-N-E?
M-I-N-E, yeah. You have to mine the why. You have to get to the why. Because you can't take that for you can't take that for surface level because a lot of times we make it about us when it's really not even about us.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So awareness.
Yeah. Being aware. I love that you said we have to mine the why and using that analogy with digging, like a miner, because we have to uncover, we have to put in some work to understand the why. Yeah. And that means that I am intentionally attuning to you. Yeah. I am aware that there is something going on. And now I'm being very intentional to try to uncover what that is so that I can help in this situation. Yeah, I love that.
I'll use a personal example if I can. And we've talked about this in the podcast before. But we were shopping for a new lamp for our living room. And the lamp Tanya wanted, I really didn't like, and I just didn't think it would fit. And so we got another lamp and whatever. And I could tell that, okay, she's not happy. But as we talked and mined that, it was like the deeper thing was you felt like I never allowed you to fully express your
my vision for how I want the house to look.
Yes. And because I was, for the most part, for me, to be honest, I'm always watching the purse string. I'm like, whoa, how much? We don't need that. This lamp worked just fine. It got a light bulb, you turn it on and it light the room, right? And so, but us talking through that, it helped me to see that you're not just wanting to spend money frivolously. And it's not about how expensive the lamp is. It's that this particular lamp is going to bring an element of...
It's going to bring a certain feel, a certain aesthetic to the room.
Yeah. And so that's just an example of how, being aware of that, but also approaching it or searching for the why, not just taking it for the surface level.
Right.
Right. So let's move on to the next one. The T is for turning toward the emotion. Turning toward emotion is about demonstrating connection and interest. When someone turns toward us, it communicates that they value our concerns and perspectives. They want to understand more.
Yes.
So turning, so that just doesn't mean physically turning.
Right.
Which is, it could be part of it. It should be part of it.
Absolutely.
But it's more about turning toward that emotion, because a lot of times when, especially us men, we don't want the emotional, so we tend to. I'm walking away from that, and we're not allowing an emotional being, the woman, to be emotional. And so I know I said this a lot. It's like a lot of times when we go into situations, I go into this knowing you're going to be emotional. I mean, it's just, you're going to be emotional. So I go in knowing that and understand that that's not a bad thing. That's just how you're processing it.
Right.
So.
And that one hit me because in my mind's eye, I literally saw there are moments, it will like really quickly, I could see moments when maybe you have come in and you're talking to me about something and I may be on my computer or on the phone. And I don't always look up and turn to you. I may continue to do what I'm doing, or if the kids come in. Yeah. And so learning to be more aware of that, because that is building connection and is showing you or whomever the other person is that you are important to me and what you have to say is important to me. So I need to turn toward it, rather it is something that is of conflict, or we're just having just a regular random conversation. Whatever it is, it's important to turn to you, to look at you and give you my attention, because I am saying to you that you are important to me. Even if you are telling me something that I don't like, or maybe we are in a conflict or argument, disagreement, what have you, it's important that I turn to you and I look at you, and because I'm showing you that you are important to me. And if this is bothersome to you or important to you, then I need to pay attention. I need to be going back up aware. Yeah. And just taking that in, like you said, even if what you're saying I don't agree with or I don't like, it's important that I allow you to say what you're trying to say, and not turn away from that, or say that's not true, or that's not. And we say this all the time, that is your truth. So we have to allow each other to speak truth. So this becomes more difficult, of course, when people are expressing anger, and it could be tempting to respond with something that is not helpful, and we also can become defensive. So that's when we say hurtful things.
Yeah, absolutely. And we respond, and even sometimes I think if I'm saying something that you may feel is or perceive as hurtful, especially a lot of times that's not my intention.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we always say intentions, it don't matter sometimes. But But I have to recognize that. So like, I'll just use myself. If you're telling me something that I don't like, and I'm becoming defensive about it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. She's just telling me how she feels. Her intention is not to hurt me or harm me. The intention is actually to benefit me, because once I know how she feels about this situation, now it gives me the ability to do something about what's the thing that's causing her to feel that way. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So here's some of the things that we had to learn. So number one, be aware of how we speak to each other. Number two, communicating something negative without being critical of our partner. Communicate something negative. I'm trying to think of a good example of it. So you can communicate something that's negative without being critical of the person you're communicating it with.
Absolutely. So if I were to say to you, about your driving, that I think sometimes you drive too fast, especially when we are going down back roads and things, you know, and I could say, something critical like, why do you think you're driving a NASCAR or something, rather than saying something like that, which could make you become defensive, what have you, rather than saying that, I could say, I love you and I want you to stay safe. And if we are with you, I want for us to be safe, so just make sure that you're not driving too fast.
Yes, ma'am. I do drive fast. I do.
You see how I did it?
I've gotten better, I think, over the years. You have
gotten better.
But I love to go fast.
But the children notice too.
So the last thing that we had to learn on this is criticism will only invite defensiveness, and connection will break. So when you're just critical, you always, when you say stuff
those
like
absolutes, that, you always, you never,
right?
Yeah.
So that's that one. The second T is tolerance. Tolerance can be both of your partner's emotion and their perspective. So that's really good. So it's twofold. I have to tolerate the emotion,
right?
And I have to tolerate, I guess, because sometimes when we say tolerate, we mean that like putting up with, but it's not like a putting up with. It's a giving space for. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say, but we have to have a sense of tolerance. You know what I mean? We can't, if we don't have a sense of tolerance, like everyone would be angry at everyone all of the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's about how people drive, traffic or people's personality types, or, you have people who are really quiet in certain settings and then other people who have a lot to say. You have people who, just different personalities. And if we don't have a level of tolerance for people, then my God, it won't be good.
So oftentimes it's tempting to shut down someone's emotions because we feel uncomfortable. So we jump to dismiss or fix the emotion instead of the person letting the person experience their feelings. So we want to fix the emotion.
Right.
Stop being emotional. Stop crying. Shut up. Don't. Especially with kids.
Don't do all that crying.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need. My mom just died, or my dad just died, or my sister, whatever.
It's gonna be all right.
Don't cry.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. I need to cry right now. Okay.
Right.
But
Please let me cry.
It makes
now.
us feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And so just learn to let people sit with that feeling.
Yep.
And now, because they understand that you're concerned and that you're toward them, it puts you in a better position to walk them through that.
Right.
That whatever they're going through.
Right. I think when we do that, what we have to learn to do as people in situations where we're uncomfortable with other people's emotions. And I'm not saying if the person is angry and they're tearing up the house or they're being, aggressive or anything like that. No, make sure that you're safe. But just say you are, sitting with someone who they're hurt over a loss, or anything could be going on, loss of relationship, loss of a loved one. Sometimes we just need to not say anything and just be present,
and allow those people to
just allow them to have their emotions and hold space for them.
So when we disagree with someone, it's tempting to immediately move to argument or proving how they are wrong. So that's not just, sometimes we, like you just said, just you can let them speak their piece, right? It's far more effective to acknowledge the other person's perspective, even if you disagree.
Right.
So acknowledging that, something like, I can see how you feel that way, or how I see and understand how that what I did made you feel this way. Right. So that's just acknowledging that, you're not crazy to feel that way.
Right. I think, we teach that often when we're talking about communication with couples. We always say, okay, we have to learn to seek first to understand, then to be understood. The process of understanding what you're saying is really listening and then repeating back to you. So what you're saying to me is that when I said this to you, that I deeply hurt you because you had this past experience in your life. Is that correct? You know what I mean? And giving them the opportunity to confirm that what you think you heard, you actually heard, or let you know that, no, that's not what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. And that is a tuning. That is tuning into this person. That is deeply understanding. That's digging to understand deeper and understand more about my partner and what's happening in this situation.
Good. So let's move on to the you. And that's understanding, not problem solving. This one right here hit me, gave me two black eyes, right? Understanding is what helps, not problem solving.
Amen.
And a lot of times, and I'm not gonna generalize all men, but I know for me and some of the men that I am in association with, that I've talked to about this, we want to solve the problem. When I see you hurting, I'm like, I gotta fix it.
Why? That's my question.
I don't know why.
Are you uncomfortable with the emotion?
I think I am, yes. So, and I think that that's what you want me to do, because that's what society has told us, that men, we're the fixers. We make everything okay. I'm Superman. Got the shirt on. So I come in and rescue Lois Lane. That's what I do.
So I'm the damsel in distress? Is that what's happening?
A lot of times that's how I think we may see you guys.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to get better at it. But my goal is to understand. And again, even relate this to your kids. I want to understand your frustration before I try to, we can tell kids, you better fix it or I give you something to cry about.
That's old school.
That's old school right there. You were going to say something. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking, we were talking about the damsel in distress. And so most of the time, and not all of the time, not 100% of the time, but most of the time, no, I don't want you to come in and fix it. I want you to hear me. I want you to understand me and maybe give me some insight or some advice, some guidance, but I don't want you to fix it. You know what I mean? And even when talking about with kids, we have to be careful of that. As our children are getting older, I'm learning more and more to back off, on some things and let them figure it out on their own, because they have to learn how to fix their own problems. They have to learn from their mistakes. You got to give them some space to make some mistakes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And learn from those mistakes.
Yeah. So when our partner is emotional, we can be tempted to dismiss the emotion by saying something like, "Oh, it'll be all right," or "You're making too big of a deal out of this." I know that's one that I use a lot. Well, why are you making such a big deal?
You just need to. That's the line.
Yeah.
You just need to. And then you tell me what I need to do.
So emotions have their purpose. All feelings are acceptable, but not all behavior is acceptable.
That's good.
One way to help is to say something like, "Help me understand what's happening. Help me understand why you're upset." And sometimes in the moment, you're maybe so emotional you can't do that. And that's when I just sit there with you and, you know, maybe hand on the leg, you know, and just wait for you to be able to gather yourself and tell me what's going on.
Right. I like that. Help me understand.
Yeah, help me understand.
Instead of saying what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Please, and this is even for kids, please do not ask people what's wrong with you. Because many times we already feel that something is wrong with me.
Yeah.
Listen to those words, right? Yeah. So help me understand what's going on, what happened. You know, those are better questions that are going to build better connection and create this sense of safety. If you ask me what's wrong with me, then that's going to put a bigger gap between us, because I'm going to say, okay, you think something's wrong with me too.
Yeah.
Or you think something's wrong with me, period. Yeah.
Yeah. So many times we feel responsible for our partner's emotions. So we try to cheer them up or make them feel better. That usually comes across as dismissing. Okay. So your partner is more likely to shut down. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what we don't want, because that goes against connection. Right. So let's move on to the end. And this is non-defensive listening. So non-defensive listening is one of the most challenging things, especially when the complaint is aimed at you. Okay. So when our partner expresses their emotions, it's easy to feel blame. Then our defense mechanisms take over, and they kick in. Then the difficulty is soothing ourselves enough to continue to listen. So learning to, you know, I'm learning to do that, like just because in my mind I'm like, but I'm learning, okay, just smile and nod, yeah, okay, and allow them to do that. So I'm not getting defensive. I'm listening, because you can't. Defensiveness by its nature is putting that wall up. So you're really not hearing what they're saying anyway, which just is perpetuating the cycle. Right.
This is definitely an area I have that I need to work on. I have been working on, is not being defensive when you tell me things about myself, or sometimes when you're trying to help and tell me what to do, I can tend to get defensive. So that's definitely an area that I am working on growing in.
So here's some things that may help you with this, or help. I'm not saying you, I mean,
right.
Us. Deep breathing, you know, slowing down the heart rate and just slowing things down. It could help. Here's one that I thought was interesting. Write down what your partner is saying. You know, now that could come across as kind of like, you know, I don't know.
Well, I think you probably have to let them know what you're doing. Like, say, do you mind if I write down what you're saying, because so that I can
don't want to miss anything.
I don't want to miss anything. Right.
And this is another one is sit down. Sometimes when you're standing, you know, or whatever, just sit down.
Right. You become less defensive, and the other person does also. Yeah.
And the last one is empathy. And empathy is the ability to be in it with your partner. I think one of the greatest examples, sympathy versus empathy, that I've heard is, you know, sympathy is if a person falls into a hole. Sympathy is looking down in the hole and say, "Man, I'm really sorry you fell into that hole."
Poor baby.
Empathy is you take the ladder, you get down in the hole with them, and you know. And, you know, I've heard people argue against this because they say, well, you don't want to get in the hole because you may get stuck in the hole. Well, no, my intention is going down there is not to get stuck in the hole. My intention is to be there, be present with this person, and help them, show them, hey, this is the way out whenever they're ready, and walk with them. And it may, like you said, maybe one step at a time. But that's what being in a relationship is all about.
Right. And you're with empathy, it's not the same as solving the problem. So you're not giving them the answer. You're not forcing them to move forward.
You're not yelling down in the hole, here, get on the ladder, get out.
Right.
Yeah.
You're there with them, and you're sitting in the feelings with them.
Sure.
And when you sense, because you are attuning, that they are ready to make a step forward, you let them know that I'm here with you and you're not in this alone, and we can move forward together.
Yeah. Absolutely. You work to understand your partner's thoughts, feelings, and experiences from their perspective.
Right.
I can see why you would feel that way when. I can see that. Remember, this is understanding their perspective. You may disagree with their interpretation, but work to understand their reaction.
Excuse me.
So with that, that's the last thing. So attunement, getting on the same frequency.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm telling you, man, you're really gonna see a shift in your relationship. You know, when you begin to practice these methods. So
absolutely.
Let me just give them to you one more time. Attune.
This was good.
A, awareness. T, turning toward. T, tolerance. U, understanding. N, non-defensive listening. And E, empathy. So that's all we have for you this week. We want to remind you to always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're not following on all three, please do.
Like, share,
share, all those things. Comment.
Get the notifications. And please comment. Comment. Yes.
And also, if you like to listen to the Marriage Matters podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find us.
And leave us a review.
Leave us a review. 5 stars.
Y'all.
Come on,
give us a 5-star review. Yes.
Yep. So that's all we got for you this week. Got anything else?
No, that's it. This was really good. I enjoyed this topic.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. So this is Glenn and Tanya Coleman reminding you that your marriage matters. Let's see you next week.
Bye.